Shalom. Let's start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Ophelet. This pushing is truth across four corners of the earth and all faith, truth, and sincerity. This I'm gonna want to buy back again sitting. Just want to go on to Hallelujah, Yahawashi, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi. Will deliver his elect, will have mercy on the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino natives, which are the Israelites, the elect. In these times going forward, the Lord Yahushua will have mercy and deliver his elect, from, these times of Jacob's trouble, the times of trouble, tribulations, now and that's ahead, and Lord Yahushua will show his power, and miracles upon his elect, and, especially on the elect men, and you're going to have women that are going to be, protecting, delivering these times as we're going forward, have mercy about Lord Yahushua, not all Israelite women, it's not going to be, destroyed, in these times going forward, be judged or, face those wrath and judgments about Lord Yahushua in these times going forward. You're going to have Israelite women that, gonna have mercy, and, build that number, and be, under, be under of a man or Lord, to, be under that hedge of protection, under a man or Lord, and, because, there's an order, you have the Most High Yahweh, who y'all call God. Then you have Yahawashi, then you have the man, the man that's, under Yahawashi did, the elect men, the Israelites, that the Lord Yahushua is gonna have mercy, and is going to protect and and have great things happen, miracles, in these times, like I say, in the woman, it's under the man, which, like I say, your man, your Israelite women, you gotta understand that your man is your Lord, that's over you, but in these times, like I said, the Lord Yahushua is gonna have mercy on these elect. He's gonna hear the elect cries and deliver the elect out of the troubles, in these times going forward. So I'm gonna get into it. Psalms 18:2. The Lord Yahweh is my rock. The Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my power, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower, So, in these times, myself, first and foremost, and those that truly believe in the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua in these times will put their full trust in the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua in these times. No matter what comes about, whatever, adversities or whatever it may be, whoever, who come against you, because you believe in Lord Yahushua, in His truth, that the apostles and the elders and brother and great men don't teach, in the name of Lord Yahushua and the spirit of Lord Yahushua, it's all about, in these times, keep your faith strong, Lord Yahushua, fast, pray, and the hope that, the spirit of Lord Yahushua stay upon you. Me, myself, first and foremost, the spirit of Lord Yahushua stay upon you, to keep this word and knowledge of His word, and wisdom, to increase in wisdom of His word, and also, and implying in your life, and also, and just hope for mercy and deliverance by Lord Yahushua, continue to pray and fast, hope for mercy and deliverance in these times by Lord Yahushua. Those that believe in Lord Yahushua and His truth, His word, and to be delivered, from the Lord Yahweh, from the Lord Yahawashi Yahshua's, wrath and judgment that he gonna bring down, you know, even these times and, going forward, bring down his wrath and judgments, down upon this place, America, Babylon the Great, these plagues and that Lord Yahshua has set up for this place, America, Babylon the Great. It's gonna be a lot of things that that's gonna happen. That this place, America, is not gonna look the same. It's already kind of start seeing that now. It's a downturn. Things gonna start getting worse and worse, man. A lot of more diseases, pestilences. Lack of food. Famine. And so forth, man. Droughts. Extreme droughts gonna come about. Well, water gonna be scarce. That's gonna come about. So it's just, it's just gonna be a time where things just gonna get, real serious, hectic. It's gonna get out of control here in America, Babylon the Great, and people just gonna be, losing it because if you don't have Lord Yahawashi behind you, protecting you, or keeping you calm in the spirit, having a calm spirit, and even in these times going forward, you're gonna break. You're gonna fold into the, selling out, or what I'm saying, and especially when the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, be mandatory, for you to buy and sell, because that's what's ahead. This financial currency, this system right now, that financial system right now is going downhill. America, Babylon the Great, the dollar, it's going to be done away with. Soon ahead, that's ahead. It's coming. It could happen this year, but we'll see. The crash of all crashes, right, and so forth. The stock market crash. And this place is completely going down, right? Down all the way out, all the way done, Then eventually, like I say, the RFID chip, which is the mark of beast, be mandatory, that hour of temptation. The hour of temptation that's gonna try to, the people in the world to buy and sell the RFID chip, the market, which is the mark of the beast, but only the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelite, those that believe in Lord Yahawashi, truly believe and have this of that righteous number that Lord Yahawashi gonna have mercy on, and it's gonna be like I said, the elect is built different, and like I say, in the Lord Yahawashi, they're not gonna break when things get hard. Not saying that's we in this flesh, I don't know, what I'm saying, you could get weak sometimes in this flesh, it's it can get rough, but me myself from like I say, and those that believe, let's continue to pray and fast to Lord Yahawashi for mercy, man. Hopefully that Lord Yahawashi, deliver, deliver, you and those that believe, me myself first and foremost, those that believe Lord Yahawashi deliver you out of your troubles, in these times of going forward, so I'll go from there to let's see. Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of their times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahawashi is his treasure. So this wisdom, knowledge of the word Lord Yahawashi, this truth, the word Lord Yahawashi is going to be the stability of that times, in these times going forward. And the strength of salvation, this truth, this is the way. Believe in Lord Yahawashi and this truth that the apostles and the elders and brother grandmas don't teach, and to have it, to hold on, to not let it go for nothing, to not say, forget this, don't go, go to the back into the ways of this world, go into a philosophy, go back to the Baptist church or whatever it may be, right? You go back to that. You go back to that, you just gonna be destroyed, and you ain't gonna have a shot of mercy, from Lord Yahawashi, you're not gonna have a shot, because you just said, fuck that, I'm finna go back into, Baptist church or whatever, whatever philosophy or whatever, right? or go chase the American dream or whatever. Still, you still trying to chase the American dream, whatever it may be, right? You give into that, you give into the lustful and the things of this world. That's temporarily, it's temporal, and it's gonna be destroyed by Lord Yahawashi when he returns, And like I say, you go back to that, and then you're not gonna have that hedge of protection by Lord Yahawashi. So this wisdom knowledge this wisdom knowledge and understanding of the word of Lord Yahawashi, of the word of Lord Yahawashi that the apostles and the elders of brother great don't teach is the way, of salvation and life, and to have mercy by Lord Yahawashi, And I say, it's not, it's not I say, being understanding this truth of Lord Yahawashi, and believing in it and so forth, walking in it, and trusting, you believe and trust in Lord Yahawashi, but going through the trials, tribulations that you may go through in this truth and walk with Lord Yahawashi and believe in Lord Yahawashi is, hey, you gotta continue to believe Lord Yahawashi, even though you're going through things. Me myself first and foremost, you're going through stuff. It may seem like ain't no way out, but you just gotta continue to believe in Lord Yahawashi. That he'll make a way out of your situation. You don't know how, but you continue to believe, and you just put me myself, like I said, me myself first and foremost, and those that believe Lord Yahawashi, continue to just believe and put your effort, and your ability to just please Lord Yahawashi, continue to just hold on to this truth, and continue to believe Lord Yahawashi, and then don't let go of this truth, don't put it behind you. And that goes for me first and foremost, don't put this truth behind you. Because you do that, Lord Yahawashi would not, he's not gonna, he's not gonna have your back, in these times or going forward, especially when this place America, Babylon the Great goes completely just, out of control. It just get out of control, right? People start going AWOL crazy, right? So it's, that's what it's about right there. But go from there. Don't lose your faith in Lord Yahawashi. That goes for me first and foremost. But go from there. I didn't want to make this too long. It's Ecclesiastes 2:10. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? So like I say, look at the generations of old. If you read the stories of the Bible, right, Daniel in the lion's den. And Lord Yahawashi had mercy on Daniel. And the Lord, Daniel was in that was, what I'm saying, in a situation where, I'm surrounded by lions, I could lose my life. But Lord Yahawashi delivered him out of that, and Lord Yahawashi, in these times, that come about for those that, the men of the Lord, the apostles and the elders and brother Redmond, that teach this truth, and those that believe in this truth and in the word Lord Yahawashi, and believe in Lord Yahawashi, when something comes about, a situation, a crucial situation, a pressure situation, whatever it may be, that don't fold in your faith in Lord Yahawashi. Beg Lord Yahawashi for deliverance. Cry to the Lord Yahawashi, to be delivered and have mercy. That's, that goes for me, that hopefully, he does, show his power and miracle, upon those that believe in Lord Yahawashi, and he deliver you out of your situation that you are facing, whether, it be of you facing death, you might not die from it, but, because scripture say, you have those that not gonna taste of death, but you're gonna have those that are gonna be martyrs, they're gonna die believing Lord Yahawashi, but, that don't mean that that don't mean they're not of their number, it just it just had to happen, but Lord Yahawashi is gonna raise those from the dead that believe on him, and those that remain gonna be taken up, You know, in the chariots will call you a foe. You know, but and like I said, also like I said, Daniel, you had the three holy children. You know, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, deliver out of the fiery furnace. You know, could deliver out of that. You know, you had Peter. You know, deliver out of prison. You know, and so forth, man. You know, you know, just miracles happening, man. You know, in the Bibles, men of Lord, Lord outside delivering out of situations, man. You know, so how much more in these times? You know, the Lord outside is going to deliver the men of Lord that continue to push His word and truth and believe on Him. You know, and never, turn their back on the Lord outside, no matter no matter how things tough got. You know, you just gotta ride it out, right? You just gotta ride it out with Lord outside, no matter what, comes about, and no matter what happens. But let me see, go from there. I ain't want to make this too long. It's Ecclesiastes 2:11. For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction. You know. So Lord Yahawashi, He's full of compassion, mercy, long suffering, very pitiful, and forgiving sins. And I say He gonna forgive. I say He gonna have mercy on the elect, the Israelites. He gonna have mercy on the so-called Negro, Latino, natives, Israelites, the elect. Those that of that house of David. You know, He's gonna receive mercy. And be saved in time of afflictions. Whatever that may be. Going through some type of ailment, pain. Whatever it may be, man. Financial down time, or whatever it may be, right? Whether finances, pain, sufferings in the body, or whatever it may be, right? The afflictions that come about, troubles or situations that you may be in, or now and going forward, Lord Yahawashi will deliver His elect out of that. It's just about, me myself first and foremost is keep the faith in Lord Yahawashi, and then don't give up, don't put away the truth, just continue to trust in Lord Yahawashi no matter what, so. Me myself first and foremost, hopefully I'm probably right your number. My faith, I keep my faith in Lord Yahawashi. My spirit be strong, Lord Yahawashi, in these times. And then those that believe in Lord Yahawashi in the truth, hopefully, you keep the faith in Lord Yahawashi and keep holding on, keep pushing, keep believing, keep keep this word and truth, and and hold on to this truth and word, Lord Yahawashi. Because the word and truth of Lord, this word and truth and wisdom, Lord Yahawashi is going to be what's going to sustain you, in these times and going forward, because nothing else, no other doctrine or philosophy, whatever, it's not going to deliver you from the wrath and judgment of Lord Yahawashi. It's only this truth, this wisdom and trusting Lord Yahawashi and constantly just praying, fasting for Lord Yahawashi to have mercy, on you in these times, and it goes for me first and foremost. So with that, I didn't want to make this too long. I hope this will edify. So again, like all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Kakadash, to the apostles, elders, to the sister brothers, to the few Akwa sisters that do this and keep the faith, and Yahushai keep fighting with that. Say shalom.